Okay, welcome to Off Duty. I'm Cody DePablo, and this is...
I'm Michael Weatherly.
Oh.
I'm off duty. Can you tell?
Yes, I can.
I got a little sort of dressed up for you today.
Well, yeah, it's kind of golfy. No?
Not going golf. I was kind of going Jimmy Buffett meets Daniel Craig.
Okay, I love the shoes.
Thank you.
The shoes are my fave.
They kind of tie the room together, if you know what I mean.
We have the wonderful Sean Murray, and this episode is episode 3 of season 3, Mind Game.
The games we play with minds.
Let the games. At the time of this episode's release, October 4, 2005, Wayne Gretzky made his coaching debut for the Phoenix Coyotes in a 3-2 in a 3-2 loss to the Vancouver Canucks.
But yeah.
But anyway, at Rogers Arena, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston finalized their divorce. Do you remember that?
Oh, gosh, that one hurts me a little.
That one still hurts me. Yeah. I mean, I remember going through it 2005 and just being like, oh, no. I felt awful.
That was the pits.
The pits. Japan announced its intention to conduct its first commercial whale hunt in 18 years. This decision sparked international controversy and condemnation from environmental groups and countries that opposed whaling.
It's funny. Condemnation for a sperm whale. Hello?
Gross.
Is this on?
In this episode, Gibbs interrogates a serial killer who's on death row as McGee and Donoso go in search of the killer's latest victims.
Makes him eat so much cereal that it kills him.
Oh, my God.
Dad jokes.
When Agent Paula Cassidy is kidnapped, the team suspects that a copycat killer is on the loose.
Oh.
All right. So without further ado, Sean Murray.
My girlfriend is always emailing me these internet videos.
You're a naughty boy, Timmy.
Oh my God, I'm becoming Tony.
Called Spinners? What's the point? It's a hip-hop thing.
Abby, I've been in this kid's room, okay? It's all black. He's got skulls everywhere. He listens to death metal.
Are you trying to make me feel better?
Is it not working?
It's not necessary, Mickey.
Tony, I'm really not in the mood.
So here we are with our delicious Sean Murray.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks, Coach.
Probalicious.
Probalicious.
What's the name of this podcast again? Full Frontal?
No, Off Duty.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Off Duty.
I don't know why.
Thanks for being here. Off Duty.
Off Duty. This is the thing about the name Off Duty. Initially, couldn't stand it, hated it, and then went through all those other things, and there were all these other, we liked the chicken and the fox. But then...
This is deciding the name of what
was
this
the
is gonna
original name of the show, NCIS?
What was it?
Navy NCIS.
Right. Could there be a worse name?
Navy Naval
Could there be a
NCIS.
worse name for a show?
Navy Naval?
Navy Naval
Criminal
Investigative Service.
Wow, that would have done really well.
Right.
Right.
.com. Geez. And so you're an executive at CBS, right? And Don's pitched the Jag off. The Jag spinoff. Sorry, excuse me.
Jag spinoff.
I'm just saying that's what it was referred to. I did not coin that. It was when I got there, they were calling it that. So you're an intelligent but rather straightforward executive, and you're looking at the #1 show on television, CSI.
Yeah.
So Belisario comes in. He's like, I want to do this Jag spinoff about the naval criminal. And so you're sitting in your office going, NCIS, CIS, CSI, and CISI, Navy, and CSI.
Well, a lot of people called it that.
The first year it was Navy NCIS because they wanted it to. The first year it was aired.
Yeah,
as
but
Navy
I knew
NCIS.
a lot of people that used to call it Navy CSI.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
Okay.
of
We're
the-
constantly
because-
approached by people
of
saying we
course.
love you on the CSI.
What's the first memory you have of hearing about NCIS? Like as Don or whoever, Viv is talking about it or whatever.
I had actually seen Don going over audition tapes.
You're kidding me.
I saw Don going over very early audition tapes.
Oh, he did that?
Oh, yeah. He was watching him in his bedroom, and I was there for whatever reason, came by, and he was like, no, sit down, watch some of this stuff. I'm like, yeah.
You don't mind if I use CBD oil, do you?
No, not at all.
Please.
Just relax. Relax.
Whatever keeps you chilled out.
Just put on the shades back on.
I'm putting the shades
Whatever
back
does
on.
it,
Let's
whatever
talk
does
about
it.
I'm off duty.
Wait a minute. So you got the privilege of actually sitting through tapes and
I
that part of the casting
saw
process.
the tapes of the Abby character.
Oh.
Get out!
Yep.
But was
And
it
did you-
Polly Perrette?
Yep.
Oh, so you were a part of that casting experience where you saw the Polly Perrette.
I got to see the casting tapes of people reading for the Abby character. Yeah.
Did you have like a feeling of watching, like, you know how sometimes they say like you meet somebody and you get this feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to be connected with them for the rest of my life. It's kind of like okay, I'm going to get into my fruly stuff, but like past life stuff almost.
Well, I can just tell you that watching those tapes, Polly completely stood out, and Don made a point of saying how much she stood out too.
Got it.
So I just remember that. So seeing P, later was not, seeing Polly was not a surprise.
And this would have been like late 2002, early 2003.
I have no sense of time, so
sorry.
You let me know.
No,
by the way, we haven't been in the same room together in 10 years.
Has it been 10 years?
10 years. The three of us together sitting down and actually talking. 10 years.
Wow.
Which is insane.
I didn't do the math or anything, but I know when I see you guys, it feels really good.
I call that a decade.
Oh, boy, do we feel it. Oh, boy. But you know what the weird thing is? We all met up, in the Spotify studios, and it was really hard not to get going about all the things that we wanted you guys to be a part of, that are listening. So we had to literally tie our tongues. And then at one point we were just given free rein, like, hey, run with it, talk.
Right.
And you can do that. Forever.
I've been.
Michael's awful about filling space.
He's like, come on, give it to
not one of his strong
Tails.
suits.
I've learned that it's actually a reflex inside me mind that I have no control over. It's compulsion. But here's a compulsive question: if you go into your Wayback Machine and you go back to your first episode, let's say January 2003, when you first heard about the thing. By the time you come in, it's like September 2003.
Yeah.
So it's 9 months later.
Yeah.
And now you're on the set of this thing. I'm kind of curious.
How did you get there?
Yeah, what's the connective tissue?
Don Belisario had this character that he wanted to bring on, and not bring on, I think he was kind of trying it out. Yeah. This rookie character, I think, if I recall, the episode was Sub Rosa, and you guys were investigating on base in...
Second season?
This was first season. I think like episode 6 or 7. It's the first time we saw McGee's character.
Okay.
Heard stories about Special Agent Gibbs. Only half of them are true. The trick is figuring out which half.
It was kind of a one deal thing. The main characters were going to be on this base in Virginia, and he was the local rookie agent that was kind of helping out a little bit.
But you had an eye on maybe this is something that you would do in a recurring way or a series regular way? Was it an option? Or was
possibly. It was one of those things where I just didn't know, Don asked me if I wanted to do this character for this episode, and, we talked about it, and I was into it.
Had you done a JAG?
I had done JAG. I'd done a couple episodes of JAG.
Okay, and it's the same studio up in Santa Clarita, where you still are today, Sean Murray.
Where I still am today.
That's right.
All these years later.
20-something years later.
Oh, there you go.
Sean actually died 8 years ago, but he's a ghost. He just haunts that studio. So that's kind of interesting, because it's a lot of the same crew that's come from JAG onto NCIS.
Yeah,
you got Squiggly Wiggly Webb, and you got Johnny O'Grady and Billy Bake and Jim Cratton. You got all
guys that have worked at those stages for like 25, 30 years.
Oh my God. But what people don't know is that you've been acting for forever.
Oh, since I was 12. Yeah.
And how did you get started in the acting world?
I saw the movie Stand By Me, and I said, that's what I'm going to do.
Was it a River Phoenix thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've always had a love affair for River Phoenix.
How could you not?
How could you not? Really. Absolutely. One brilliant actor.
Absolutely.
His brother ain't shabby either.
So I want to just come into this, like, you had done JAG, you understood the feeling of what Patrick Laberteau and the gang over there with, with the big, tall David James Elliott and the beautiful Catherine Bell and the group, right? And you come in now to NCIS with the Morcus Hormus and the Mark Weatherby and Capital P. You got the group and David McCallum.
Yes.
And do you have any flashbulb memories of that first period, or is it back through the fog banks of time?
No, I have a couple memories. I remember showing up in the wrong parking lot for work and someone yelling at me.
Classic.
Wait,
and I was
yelled?
like, and I had to pull out my call sheet and be like, I'm this guy, and I'm supposed to be here. And then the tone changed, and then they got me to wherever I was going to go. But I remember doing it, and my memory of really vibing you guys and the team was when I had to, and I think you remember this, is when I had to come up and deliver some information on a pier, I think it was.
Yeah.
And you started playing with my lapel and my jacket. And
yes, I was actus interruptus.
You were actus interruptus.
Right.
And that, I guess, sort of started a little kind of a thing.
Right. So talk a little bit about what that is, because for those people at home, the acting thing, it's not just standing on your tape and saying your lines.
Even though, by the way, a lot of people think that's what it is.
Right.
Certainly
you don't just memorize.
It's like stand on your mark.
Memorize the lines.
You memorize them. But so because it was something that I had discovered on the set of NCIS, which was to screw things up a little bit on purpose so that you gave yourself these obstacles and then you screw with other people's things and they get mad at you. And
well, that disruptiveness, though, would keep you very present.
It would. And by the way, the delivery the dialogue that we were given sometimes was so incredibly challenging.
Expository.
Totally. All that exposition that if you didn't find some level of play in it, it was like delivering cardboard.
And I remember early on Don saying, the show is between all those words. It's between all that info.
Yeah.
Right? That's where all the stuff is. That's where we play.
And I think that's the thing that we all learned how to do, find a play in an impossible delivery of exposition
and I'm
at times.
Step out on a very thin gangplank. See how I kept it naval? Mark Harmon created that space. Because without number one making that happen, if that guy shuts it down, stop playing around, don't touch him. He shuts it down.
Oh, no, I think he understood the beauty in the play.
And where do you think he got it from? What do you think? Because you had worked with Mark Harmon before.
I worked.
And what did he play?
Wait, you worked with Mark Harmon?
I worked with Mark Harmon when I was...
Good stuff.
This is the stuff you guys want to know.
15 years old.
Oh,
what?
On a show I did for CBS called Hearts of the West with Beau Bridges and Lloyd Bridges.
Where you played a witch?
No, that was
You're thinking first off, you're thinking of Hocus Pocus,
yes,
and secondly, you're so wrong. You have no idea. I was not a witch.
We're gonna do the game later with her.
For some reason, I got this image of you like on a little like on a stick. Of course, I was like, oh, I have to
you are the greatest of all time. You are like the mule. I think you mean goat. Yes, the greatest of all time, the mule.
Like he definitely wasn't a witch. But I had to say that.
What did Mark Harmon play?
Mark Harmon played on the show, came on and guest starred as Sam Carver, the drunken rodeo clown.
The drunken rodeo
clown with a severe alcohol problem.
Mark played that?
Yes, he did.
Oh my God, I would pay to see it.
Good.
And you know what I remember? I remember him sitting in the diner, which was like our bar, the bar set, whatever. And on the show, and he had the red nose on. He would take the red nose off, shot alcohol, put the red nose back on, give it a second, nose come off, shot.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, and now he just went to the basement. Now he's building a boat. shot alcohol, build the boat.
I was not born in the States, and so for me, when I was, stop.
Are you from another country?
I am, and so, and when I heard about Mark Harmon, I had been told, he was a big pro football player and blah blah blah.
But he was college.
Well, he was.
Ecuador.
Stop it. And
Bolivia.
Stop it. I was told when I was younger that it was Czechoslovakia. By the way, by people in New York. Are you from Czechoslovakia? No, I'm not. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't know the trajectory of his acting resume. You know what I mean? And then later on, when we started doing NCIS, I figured out I should probably Google what he's done.
But he's done a thing or two.
Oh my God, you were brought up with him. I wasn't. You know, didn't he play a character named Shoop?
That was in summer school.
But that was like a huge character, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And a beloved American character.
But when you get to ensemble TV land, you're looking at St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Which was a huge television show and also had this quirky procedural ensemble cast.
Was that right before NCIS?
That was in the 80s. No, Gwyneth Paltrow's father was...
Was that the one with Denzel on it too?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow. What a cast.
Yeah. Oh, and Howie Mandel and Ed Begley Jr. and it goes on. And then he did...
Chicago Hope?
Chicago Hope.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he did West Wing. Another ensemble, not as much comedy, but with Allison Janney and Brad Whitford and all those guys, like an incredible ensemble show. So that's kind of what I think about when you come on the set, because, I'm throwing just noodles at the wall and seeing what sticks. I got no game plan whatsoever. All I know is that I'm not very good. And I better work really hard not to get fired. So I'm employing every tactic.
But that's where, by the way, that's where I always feel Michael is so terribly self-deprecating. Because I was always in awe of how this whole thing gelled, and how the energy and the synergy kind of worked together, and how quick you were, how quick we all were at a certain moment. Like you'd throw the ball and there were 10 people just, all of us, at the bullpen.
Yeah.
And we were all just waiting to catch it or play. We were so eager to just catch whatever it was that people were throwing at us.
And we were game.
Oh, we were gaming.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, by the way.
No.
We made
because if it was easy, everyone
easy.
would do it.
That's correct.
We might have said that a few times. Okay, and before we get into mind games, I just want to go memory lane for a second with when we're on a crime scene set, and it's Monday, and we're out at Disney Ranch, or we're at some bank in Sun Valley, or where there's somebody with a missile through their head in the middle of Thousand Oaks.
And they could potentially be naked too, just covered with a tarp.
They're usually naked.
Yeah,
you're downtown in an alleyway, or you're over in wherever the hell we are.
Yeah,
it could be in Malibu. It's crime scene Monday. Was you have no idea where you are, but it's early, and Ducky's there first, and you know that it's going to be a. Boss, I found something down by the blah, blah, blah. And it's always the same stuff. And the poor guy that they hired to be the dead body who's like naked in a field, uncovered. And Billy Webb's throwing like things on top of him.
He's been there naked in the dark since like 3:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And Billy Webb, as they're shooting, they just start laying tarps and reflective things for lighting over the dead. They were like, I think if we can't see that, we could get the actor.
Get a little bounce of the light.
But maybe the actor could go away and you could just put the...
No, you know what? Muzz on a dead guy.
But do you remember...
I can't believe we're laughing about it because it's just...
But do you remember...
It's awful. You think about it now, like the level of humanity that was laying on the floor.
No. I'm going to go one step...
That's a human.
I'm going to king how awful this is. And in normal checkers, it's awful. I'm going to king it by saying we then would be standing next to these poor dead actors.
No, they were actors.
I know these.
Michael.
I know they were playing dead bodies, and we would be going. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how many more years can you do this? And you'd look at me. You're like, Shetty, it's been 5 years. I don't know how many more crime scenes I can do. And Sean's like, I wish it had only been 5 years.
And then perspective. There's a guy who's literally been there.
We ignore him.
Probably cold. But I will say we got really good. Going up to those actors and saying like, "Hi, how are you? Are you okay?" Like we got
because we learned how much they went to. Everyone would like people come up to us and be like,
never.
You were so busy trying to do your job. You were so busy trying to do your job that you forgot that they weren't dead. You know what I mean?
And you had
they were playing dead.
And you had these actors fully committed to playing dead who would be there and just act dead the whole fucking time. Sorry, can I?
And not only that, but then when the camera would pan down, they would be asked the impossible.
You with your technical terms.
Oh, come on.
Panning down.
Panning down. And then they would be asked the impossible. Don't breathe.
Right.
Please hold it.
And then we'd forget to tell them to breathe. And they'd be like, I think the dead guy's passed out.
But wait, in mind games, and this is a weird thing.
Finger.
No,
the finger goes.
Oh my God, my husband always looks at the finger, and he makes me feel so self-conscious.
But wait, go to mind games. What were you going to say?
Mind games.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a scene where the woman has been found at the end of the episode, right? And she's one of the women that has recently been killed by the copycat killer, right? And at one point, this is of course where
by the way, I barely remember this, but I remember this.
No. But this is where my eyes go. I was like, oh, look at that. And look at the heart carved in the back. And wow, that's a gruesome scene. And the foliage and this and that. And all of a sudden I see her belly slightly breathe.
You see a little breathe?
And I just went, oh, damn it.
Took you right out of
it. I was like, but how many times they probably asked that poor woman to hold it?
Oh no!
It's impossible.
And they'll do the close up on the face of the body, and they've got like the eyes twitching, and that became a thing apparently. Yeah. That when they would audition people for the bodies, that they would do an eye twitch test.
You're kidding me.
To see if they could close their eyes and not twitch around. You know what? I hear things.
And by the way, why not just like do a freeze frame? Can we take a moment though? Can we just take 5 seconds
Yeah.
where we, do you have a cup? Can we,
A cup? Toast.
Can we toast?
Yes.
Well, this is a little toast. It's so good to see you, Sean.
It is wonderful to
and
see
I
you.
just wanted, reach, go all the way.
You always have very long arms.
I know I was all over
love
the
it.
mic, but whatever.
And I just wanted to say,
What a reunion.
5 seconds
How
of silence
Yes.
for Mr. David McCallum.
Ah, yes.
So
May he
let's
rest
do
in
it
peace,
together.
the great
The
David
great
McCallum.
Let's
Yeah.
just give him 5 seconds.
Absolutely.
I know you're going to say something funny because you just can't help yourself.
Crying.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But thanks for that. Here I am with the
I
honest
ruined-
emotions. And you know what?
ruined
She's
your
like,
moment.
you're gonna bust this up. I am capable of honest emotions. I know that it's a shocking thing.
I know
But
you are.
I've
I've
been
seen
in
it.
through a lot of therapy.
And-
So I've learned that I'm actually deeply shallow. I am way down deep. I'm profoundly shallow. So anyway, let's get into the mind games. Keep playing.
Oh, Michael.
Wait, do you remember this? He used to draw 3rd season these dinosaurs with the. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
He used to do these little cartoons that were
I
like.
remember the
Podcast
cartoons, but I
always
don't
gets
remember
me.
Yeah.
Got on the podcast. Gosh, darn it. Dag nabbit, as my favorite senator would
Dang
say.
it.
Let's talk about UFOs later, but not now.
You found the bodies. Good. Not what you were expecting, was it? You see, there's someone else out there now. A new threat.
The actor who played Killer Kyle Boone on that episode, I was watching the episode last night because, first of all, I wasn't in that episode.
You watch
Right.
NCIS every night, though.
No, I don't. In fact,
Wasn't that the small amount of time between...
they were casting.
The killers
They were
and-
casting the role of
We shot it
the girl
first.
that was supposed to
Oh, I
replace.
don't recall that.
Yeah, that's
Paula-
the first episode.
Paula Cassidy.
Jessica Steen was there
Jessica
first.
Steen.
right.
Who, by the way, I watched the episode and I was like, she was fantastic.
Yep.
She was like
I remember
really
her being
solid.
fantastic.
We blew her up.
But it wasn't on that episode.
Not on
it was
that
later
episode, but
on.
she blew up.
She
I
did.
had to
And
smoke cigars to find the hole in the wall and then the wall thing, she went into the other thing and it closed and she, I remember that. And I was like, why do we keep blowing up my girlfriends?
Yeah, that was a thing
No,
for a
we
minute.
never killed it. We never killed another one that was.
Oh. That was kind of uncomfortable.
I know.
I feel slightly uncomfortable with
I know.
that statement.
Okay. That means we're getting closer to the Chernobyl core.
Oh God.
Okay.
She was
And that's ultimately where we were.
she was really terrific. But also the actor who played that, the Kyle Boone, Christopher Shire, I remember thinking like,
Yeah.
he's pretty good. He's pretty
Yeah.
convincing.
Yeah.
Talk about casting here
Kept
on
playing those mind
NCIS.
games.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was a really good episode. And I think they were casting the girl who was going to replace Sasha during that entire episode. Who, by the way, is me.
Right. I think that they were still trying to figure out your widow's peak.
Oh God, that didn't come into play until I think episode 4 or 3.
Oh, they were playing with you. So mind games. We're now. You've been there for a couple of years. You're a cagey veteran on the set of the NCIS.
Cagey.
You went to main titles in season 2.
Yes.
Which is a big deal because, you were like extended guest star remix.
You were?
No, what happened was in the first season, McGee's, was originally just a one-time appearance in Sub Rosa. And then after Sub Rosa, there was, McGee wasn't there. There was a regular old NCIS episode or Navy NCIS episode.
So much like Mind Games.
Yes. And then we did the next
Sorry,
one.
let's get back.
Go back to Mind Games.
Can we talk about me more?
Yeah, right. No, but the episode, 2 episodes after Sub Rosa, they were like 3 minutes short. And they said, let's bring back McGee.
See, it's all about
and
The
stick
infamous
him
3
with,
minutes
stick
that
him
made
with
you
Tony.
go.
And
Is
do
everything.
have like a little C story thing. And then after that, I started appearing in each one a little bit more.
Right.
And that was all recurring. And then second, yeah, I'm sorry.
And
I
it
should have
really-
said
no,
this
but
like
it
20
became
minutes
second
ago.
season that you became a series
Second
regular
se- yeah,
period.
but
And you go into the main titles. Remember when you had to run through the car wash?
I remember very well running through the car wash.
Anticipate, McGee.
And that was main titles.
I know running through that car wash which I did many times and was a real car wash. I remember taking a sharp right.
That's what a lot of people don't know, by the way. You need to get into the juicy bits.
That we ran through the real car
wash.
You need with all that stuff going sharp right. I take a sharp right. My dress shoes come out right from under me because I'm sprinting. I come down on my right hand. And, like a lot of us actor types, we jump up, we just keep doing our thing. Yes. We don't even really notice what we do until afterwards.
And you're like,
to this day, I have very limited mobility in my right
and
thumb.
That wasn't
it's a good thing
stunt?
I'm a lefty. What?
That wasn't a stunt.
No, that was me coming down on my hand, slipping on a wet-ass car wash.
She's like, but it was a stunt. So Diamond Farnsworth was in charge of the snow.
Wait, yes, it was fully planned in every way. No.
Was this in the script? No.
Cody, I was like, you were so good in that, wasn't it?
I was injured, and they said, do you have another one in you?
You're like, I was injured? I'm still injured, by the way. Like, I can barely
to this
move
day,
my
I'm
hand.
reminded of the car wash every time I shake someone's hand.
I know, anytime soap suds get near that thumb, it's like...
Just bad memories flood.
So do you have a memory of being in the opening titles the first time you saw yourself in it? Because it is kind of a moment. Because I did multiple TV series. Actually, I did a show called Significant Others where I was in a barber chair and it spun around and they said Michael Weatherly. And I was like,
that's cool.
I'm in the opening titles of something. I just remember that being a very exciting.
Oh, chérie, you're so cute.
Because I grew up with television and like being, theme songs and all that. So suddenly,
you're still very much into that.
Yeah, because it's in there. I can't get stuck. So you start doing the show. In season 2, it comes into focus a lot. You're starting to get kind of legs under you as a character, but you're still the probie.
Absolutely.
And so is there, as season 3 is getting underway, because this would have Mind Games the first thing out of the gate that we're shooting. Jessica Steen is on set. You've just had your first true hiatus. Your life maybe is changing a little bit. I'm talking 2005.
Yeah, no, things are
you're moving into a new apartment.
I'm with the girl that I'm
soon to be
going
married
to marry.
You are, and this is like.
So you're in a smooth sailing good spot.
And things are happening.
Your life is changing like drastically.
Yeah,
as it did for all of us on the show. But
with the exception of me.
You're about to move out from New York City and change your whole life.
Yes, but that happened after I left. The thing about that show is that it was self-absorbing, and that's what a lot of people don't know. You were working very long hours.
Oh, we were entrenched.
You were entrenched in it, and so it was very hard
thing.
if you were moving cross country to do a TV show that you had you'd never done before, to then have a life outside of it.
Absolutely. In those first couple of years, that was an extremely difficult thing for all of us, I think. I remember calling my wife Carrie, season 3. I think she was my wife at some point during that season. But calling her,
season 3.
Carrie at
I went to your wedding. We all did.
That's right.
Actually.
It was during season 3, right?
Season 3,
I got the pictures.
Yes.
But I remember calling Carrie from my trailer of a location at like 1:30 a.m. and going, honey, go to bed. I don't know when I'm going to be home. Like we still have this whole thing we got to shoot. And that's what I really remember about those first
I was living in Santa Clarita.
Why? So was I.
I know, but I moved up there in season 2.
And that was like out of necessity. You could because
you were living in Malibu.
Our whole world was
you?
that show.
And for season 1 was in Malibu. Season
what
2,
made you think that would work?
Well, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was really dealing with a major depression. And the only I had actually worked with this actress named Justine Waddell, and I met with her in London. I had done the Mystery of Natalie Wood, where I played Robert Wagner. We'll talk more on that later.
The irony.
But I was in London going through a very big breakup. And I went to sit down with Justine Waddell, who I'd become friends with, and we had tea at Claridge's, and I think I had cocktails. And she said, you should live by the water, because we were talking about...
It'll be very healing for a cancer.
Yeah. And she was dead right. So I went out and I got this apartment in Malibu. And so it's interesting, you do have to self-soothe. You have to find, because the show's not going to hold your hand.
No, right.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's nobody there to make sure Sean Murray's okay.
You need to find that peace. Absolutely.
But Bubba's going to make sure you got knee pads if you got to go down for, but no, were you ever late to set?
I think...
That was a really good segue, by the way.
I think one time I was
I'm
late
getting
to
the
set.
knee pads.
I think one time I was late to set, and I learned early on in my career, do not ever be late to set.
Did Mark Harmon ever have problems? Did you ever get the freeze out The 10th Avenue freeze out?
The one time I was late, I think it was literally by like maybe 6 minutes after call, but I remember running to the trailer, opening the trailer door, and seeing an alarm clock sitting right there.
Oh, circa season 2, season 1.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Because the clock was gone by season 3.
I think it was 2. It was definitely 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So that
I heard about the clock because of Sasha.
It was the one.
We haven't talked about the clock.
Right.
we need to talk about the clock.
That was the one time I got the clock, and I think I got off pretty easy because it was my one time.
I got the clock a lot. I got a lot of clock.
Well, you had a 3-hour drive-in the morning.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Season 2, not a lot of clocks. Season 1, the clock. I was like Flavor Flav with the clock around my neck.
You were.
What?
Well, what? Well, but you were also driving in from Malibu. Yeah, being close to the water cost you, lovey.
It cost me, but for me, and I don't, I want to keep this back in your area because I, as I said before, realized that I was having a lot of personal issues that the show, 2 things. One, the show allowed me to grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone in Mark that could be a sort of father figure and somebody and Don Belisario, who was like super menschy, but also not sugarcoating anything at all.
No, they're tough dudes.
No, which is one of the best things about it.
It's the greatest thing.
And no PAs fetching you things. No, you get in line, you stand in line with everybody, as Mark Harmon said to me the first day of work. You eat lunch with the crew.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that gave me that. But what it also did was it allowed me to not deal with the rest of my life. So I had these underlying issues that just went, and I put them under a carpet.
Well, but by the way, survival mechanism. How can you deal with life when you're doing something 17 hours a day? I mean,
it's a beautiful excuse.
You're right. You're not.
We have to hit these next couple of questions. They're actually kind of cool. If you were a serial killer, what would your MO be? This is a dark question, by the way.
That's a crazy dark question.
It's a dark, but you know what?
What would your mo
From dark
be?
To darkness.
Hey, killer, what's your mo?
What's my mo?
What's your mo?
What's your modus operandi?
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you know what mo stands for?
Hi.
Wrong. Hi. Go.
It's Latin, isn't it?
Go. It's Latin.
Yes,
you're asking me what my MO would be if I was a serial
Hey, I
killer.
don't write these questions.
Listen, AI generates these.
Yeah.
So clearly,
So we just have to respect AI. It's a world. It's the world.
it's
today.
the future, Sean.
So so let me rephrase this. If there was a serial killer, I don't know if you've ever been into that kind of thing. I mean, some people are, but
It's not. My wife loves staying up and watching those, things.
I know,
every
but
night.
like which ones do you gravitate towards?
Yeah, who's your favorite serial killer?
No, I mean, there's no
You like
such
your
a
Ted
thing.
Bundy?
Are you
Mark
into the Bundy?
Mark
Right.
Harmon played a serial killer
But he did.
very famously.
He did, yes.
And that guy's MO, what a mo. That guy.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite serial killer?
I grew up
John
in the era.
Wayne Gacy.
I grew up in the era of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, you're a Dahmer.
God.
So I'll just
You're
go with
gonna go
Dahmer.
Dahmer.
I'll just go Dahmer.
Dark.
Because
Okay.
because that was about, I think, as dark as it can get.
Right. All right.
If anyone on NCIS were a serial killer, no, sorry, that's I just butchered that
What are we
question.
talking
So
about?
who on NCIS
You got a
main
heart out
cast
here. I know.
is most likely to be a serial killer? Like if you were to say like everyone in this cast, who do you think would have been it?
Brian Dietzen.
Ooh.
Brian Dietzen. I'm
Polly
just gonna
Pratt.
throw out Really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
not Polly Pratt, Abby Shuto.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
no, for
I'm
sure.
going with Brian Dietzen, the human. No.
Oh,
I'm
I'm like the nicest guy in the world.
That's why it's perfect,
guy in
because he's the nicest guy in the
I'm like,
world.
that's a great cover. Yeah.
Right? No one would suspect.
What about you, Sherry? Sherry.
I think
It's like something taken out of Lord of the Rings.
I think
Junkles.
I think it's Gibbs.
Oh.
He spends a lot of time in that basement. And, digging holes and basements and building boats and Viking funerals. You sail that boat out with a fire. What's he doing
like,
in that
what's
basement?
Suspicious
inside
behavior.
that mind?
What's inside that makes it mysterious.
What are you
Mysterious
thinking? Sorry, that's
Okay, so what's your favorite Gibbs quote or rule? And does Mark Harmon have any of those that you know of? Any rules that you know of?
Well, show up on time or you're going to hit the clock.
Show up on time's a big one.
There's a Mark rule.
Yeah, show up on time. That's a big one. Don't take a sick day. I learned that one.
Family first?
Yeah.
No, that's not.
I was I was sick, season 3, really, really, really sick.
Yeah.
And I had Dr. Pat.
Right.
Dr.
right.
Pat,
Yeah.
famous Dr. Pat. He was sent over and he came over to the house. I had like a really awful fever.
Mm-hmm.
And And Dr. Pat said, you can't go to work. So I thought, well, if the doctor's telling me that I can't go to work, I must follow orders. So I made the grave mistake of staying home.
Right.
And I was sent a car, and I went to set. And Mark came up to me, and he was kind enough, but he was very stern, and he said, you come to set, we decide when you're sick. Something along the lines of that. Like,
that
you come to set.
That changed with COVID.
Yeah,
but it was you come to set, and then we will determine how we address this. You know. And by the way, I don't think I ever got sick again. I mean, I was probably very, 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 very sick.
Yeah. Right. You just had to leave the show.
but I think mentally it just did a trick on you. You know, you weren't really. And when you think about it, you know, anyone in production can do a job, better, worse, whatever. But no one can play McGee. No one can play DiNozzo. No one can play any of the characters. So you really had to be there. And that's a lot of pressure.
I remember getting food poisoning one night and just spending the whole night, you know, being sick and like the worst. And it was like, no, we're in the director's office the next day.
Did you get sick? Somebody, there was an ambulance that came once. Or something else.
Oh, no, that's when I had a tremendously bad flu, like the worst flu you can possibly get.
And didn't you kind of like fall, like plop over, kind of?
Oh, no, I was having, I like wasn't getting oxygen. Like I was having problems.
You had to go to the local...
they brought me to the local
emergency room.
Yeah.
While we were shooting. But
I think it was a different time.
I mean, this was in
2002.
season 2. I think it was before you were in there.
I think it's 2004, because I wasn't there.
Right. So,
no, I think it was just a different time. I think we just worked through it.
I was saying on set once when we were shooting the pilots, the JAGs, that I hadn't seen my son in months. And I was talking to Mark Harmon off camera. We were on our one waiting to come down the stairs or whatever. And yelling from downstairs was like, nobody cares. And it was Belisario, like could hear me on the microphone, on his ears. And he goes, nobody cares. You know, toughen up. And, you know, it was like, your life is your life. You made a choice to be on this set. If you've chosen to be part of the space program and you're going to live up there on the International Space Station,
you're in space.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Go cry in a bag of
money.
You taught me that.
Space money.
So I think that...
Ooh, what is that?
I think
I like a taste of it.
I think that this goes to the heart of mind games, because I think that what we're really talking about is that making television plays a little game with your mind. You know,
I think we all got a taste of that.
Undoubtedly.
I'm going to be listening
and I think we all
to
processed
John Lennon's
it.
mind games.
Yeah, but I think we all processed it quietly.
Yes.
In our own ways. And they were the devils we dealt with when we got home.
But we supported each other.
We did, but it was very unspoken. It was this unspoken camaraderie, you know, like you'd show up to set and you knew that somebody was hurting and you'd want to make it better, but you also knew that you weren't going into that, you weren't violating that private thing that person was going through.
And you brought it to the work. So you brought it to the scene.
You always brought it to the work.
So, you know, if you were not feeling good, your character is suddenly not feeling good.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you learned
I can remember
if you were sad, you fucking cried.
Yeah,
that's just the way it was.
Yeah. Why is Ziva so sad in this episode? It's like, God, he was very sad. He was very sad.
So we're going to play a game here. It's it's just a little.
It's a margarita?
No, it's a dandelion tea.
Oh, of course.
It's good for
Mine's
hormonal imbalances. Not that I have them.
We had Weatherly Rum.
Weatherly Rum, that's good. So this is a game that we're going to play with a lot of our guests. And it's just, you know, we're going to throw out a question and you're going to have to answer.
Oh,
okay.
Boy.
So how many times has Gibbs been married when the show starts?
Poor.
Oh, come on. You know this.
3 times. 3?
I'm going to go 2.
You suck.
3? Did I get
4.
Oh, well, I was closer.
You were closer.
You were closer.
If this was Price is Right, I'd be the one.
All right, I'm down 1.
Okay, so one of Gibbs's character traits is slapping DiNozzo on the head.
Ouch.
When did the first head slap air?
Choices?
No choices. You just have an answer.
Okay. What season?
Oh,
just give a season. Just give a season.
1.
No. Okay, season 1.
Okay, season 1. Okay, narrow it down. The show premiered September 28th, 2003.
Yeah, if you had to choose an episode.
I feel like somewhere probably about 2/3 into that season is maybe when the head slaps.
So like around 10,
15,
8.
15, 18.
Give us a number, Sean.
As far as an episode.
No pressure.
Okay. Hold on. How many bloody episodes did we do that first year?
24.
I feel like maybe like 17.
All right. And what about you?
Episode 6.
Of season
1.
God, you were really close. Episode 5.
Oh.
It was already happening. It was already happening before I got there. Wow.
Yes, I remember it well.
Let's strain your eyes, boss.
Why doesn't Gibbs lock the front door of his house?
I know.
Why?
Because he's looking for trouble.
Oh, God.
He's
looking for love in all the wrong
come
places.
on in. Hey, DoorDash, it's open. Come down to the basement. I'm making a boat, said serial killer Gibbs. See, I'm not wrong. Only a serial killer leaves his front door unlocked. Why do you think he leaves his front door unlocked?
I'm going to go with whatever you said. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. I think it's because his wife and his daughter died, and he leaves it open just in case they ever come back.
Oh, no, but you were really close, and it goes actually really sad, I think. The answer is because he has already lost what was most important to him. So he actually doesn't care.
Yep, he don't care. My God,
I feel
what
like
a
an
honey
ass
badger.
for making a joke. I feel awful now.
Honey badger.
Well, no, I mean, look, honey badger out. When in doubt.
This is what it would be like if you had a game show.
Really?
You'd look like some kind of owl. You'd look like a very
adorable,
attractive
owl.
No, I mean like shockingly.
Beautiful, well-spoken.
Clearly intelligent.
That's why I love you. I have a really funny story about owls. I was somewhere in the south of the United States of America, and I had recently manifested a child. And it was on a full Scorpio moon. Oh, stop it, Michael. Just don't give me the smirk.
I'm not.
And
I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah, I know you are.
Okay.
So a massive, powerful, full Scorpio moon. And I had done this meditation under this moon by the ocean. Mm-hmm. And I had asked for a child. And in 2 days, an owl flew in front of the window. And it stood in front of the window, and it was looking out, the same direction I was looking out the window. And then it pivoted its head, and it looked at me, and I knew I was pregnant.
And it was Ducky?
What?
He looks like an owl.
Michael, come on.
What?
Remember how David's head used to go...
I always say, like, it's funny that you said the word owl, because for me, like, I've always associated owls with the...
Yeah, with that moment.
It's sort of like that bird delivered the news that I was pregnant.
I think
that's really
isn't that cool?
It's
really cool.
And now every single time I hear owls, I'm thinking, am I pregnant?
I put the owl in owl.
Can I just throw one thing about mind games? And this is what someone told me. It may not be completely true, but worth looking into.
I like things like that.
The first time in mind games was the first time the term very special agent was used. And it was not used by the Tony character. It was Abby saying, very special agent.
Oh, wow.
Take it away, McGee. I mean, I'm very special agent McGee.
And then the very special agent became adopted by the Tony characters.
Because he stole it.
But
that guy.
You know, hey, what are you going to
do? That guy couldn't leave a good thing alone, could he? He was like, that's a good thing. I'll steal it. The lobbyist poo chunks.
How many chunks could a poo chunk of a poo chunk poo? I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been to have you here.
Can we just do the song as we say goodbye?
Oh, God.
Ready?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, and how many chunks could a poo chunk if a poo chunk could chunk poo? Oh, yeah.
How many chunks could a poo chunk if a poo chunk could chunk poo? How many poos could a chunk poo chunk if a chunk poo could chunk poo chunks?
By the way, no one's going to get this, but I started calling you Chunky Cheese. No, Poo Chunk.
Chunky. We had many variations.
And then it went from that to how many chunks of Poo Chunk? Like literally right before we would get into a take.
Yeah. That was the mantra.
And we would die laughing, and then it was like action, and we'd have to put it away, but it was almost impossible at times.
It's been so awesome. First of all, to see you.
10 years, man. 10 years. All of us together.
In one of the sweetest hoodies.
Oh,
That may
yeah.
exist.
That hoodie needs like its own.
May you time travel back to Lancelot and and say hi. Pull the sword. Pull Excalibur from the stone.
And I know we're having you again. We're having you again for a Proby episode, so that's going to be fun.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I just
fun.
want to thank you guys so much for having me. It's like seeing you guys is like no time.
A virtual
I hug
hug.
you. I
Not
give you the
virtual,
COVID hug.
There's
the COVID hug.
COVID.
I love you guys.
All right. Well, that was a little nostalgic.
Emotional.
A little emotional. In fact, as we were walking to the stage, well, to the Spotify studio, I remember saying, like, I'm a little emotional about this. It had been 10 years. He was here. It was nostalgic. It was beautiful.
We got to nod to the Duck Man.
We did. We got to nod. And which leads me to some fan focus questions.
Fan focus.
So, hey, Michael, my question is, Tony was a big movie buff. What's your all-time favorite movie? And do you think Tony would enjoy it too?
What's your all-time favorite movie?
Nah, don't turn it around.
Oh, I have to answer?
Yes, you
Lawrence
do.
of
This
Arabia.
is for you. Lawrence of Arabia. And do you think Tony would like it too?
Yes, but I think Tony's favorite movie might be a comedy.
Okay. Why Lawrence of Arabia?
For me, why Lawrence of
Yeah.
Arabia? I think because it's about a journey, and it's about a kind of quest and a messianic journey of discovery and pushing back against expectations and authority.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Right.
Lawrence of Arabia, an incredible experience. And really, that's what it is. It's not just a movie. It's really the true life of T.E. Lawrence, as told by David Lean and Peter O'Toole and all those other incredibly talented people that put it together. Tony's favorite movie, Joe versus the Volcano, written, directed by John
I think you actually said
Patrick
that
Shanley.
at some point during
It's
a
a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie. That's why it's important. Right.
Yeah. Shall I answer that for you?
Yes.
English Patient.
Which is very Lawrence of Arabia in a way. It's almost in the same world.
Well, you would know that. But I remember watching that and just being like, it just killed me into a zillion tiny little pieces. I remember thinking the soundtrack could not have been more beautiful. The costumes, they were just delicious. The acting was impeccable.
Did you get to work
sexy.
with somebody from the English
I
Patient?
did. I had to work with Juliette Binoche, and that was like, it was such a delight. She is so not what you think she is in the best of ways. She is open and, because she's such a huge movie star and she's so beautiful and she's so many things. But when you meet her, you realize that she is so open and she allows herself to be touched by life all the time. And it's something that I just remember thinking, like, that is what makes her so beautiful. I just loved her. But I remember that movie just tore me. And I think it's because there's always been a part of me that impossible love, that impossible love where two people really love each other. They go through the mill, and then finally when they get together, it's too late. It's timing. It's the impossibility of it all. Even, and I remember being a freshman in college or somewhere around that era when that movie came out. And even then, it just touched me. It was just this thing. I couldn't put it away. Like there was something that resonated deep within my soul.
Rafe Fiennes played T.E. Lawrence, I think, in something, but he also did. We had his ex-wife on the show. Wuthering Heights.
Yes.
Before he played in the Schindler's List.
Yes.
And that incredible Juliette Binoche movie, Blue. Kieslowski.
God. Blue, red,
white.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. So, hey guys, longtime fan. Did you guys ever take any props or mementos from the NCIS set as souvenirs? If so, what were they?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I took a hat.
You took a hat?
I took an NCIS hat, crime scene hat.
Yeah, but I think, didn't we all get? No, we didn't.
We had to turn them in, but I stole it.
Because
I took a badge.
You took a badge?
I took a badge. Shh, don't tell the authorities. I also took, remember those little notebooks we had that said Naval Criminal Investigative Service, and it had a little slot for a little tiny white pen that you put it in. They were crappy little plastic blue books with white plain paper, and I would write my lines in them.
Oh.
And then Gibbs used to write his lines in them. He'd be like,
I think we all
looks
did
like we have to talk to McDougal about what happened with the crime scene. And I took some boots, some John Varvatos boots.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really cool that you talked about boots and stuff like that because, yes, I took some boots too, which by the way, I still wear. They're like 19 years old and
guess
they're
what?
awesome.
CBS is going to hear this and you will be getting an invoice shortly.
Oh, God.
Crap. Maybe we can edit this part out.
Foot. And then, okay, so if you could swap roles with any other character on NCIS, we've talked about this before, for a day, who would it be and why?
I feel the same way about wife swapping as I do about role swapping.
It just doesn't
Not
happen.
interested.
Yeah, by the way, I feel the same way.
Let's say you had to. Let's say you got to do it. So to look at it now as an exercise, when we're doing an acting thing and it's like, you play me, I'll play you.
Yeah.
Just as an exercise.
Gibbs.
Okay. That's interesting. I am going to go Ducky.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious about that wandering around with all the dead bodies and where your brain goes. It's kind of curious to me.
Okay. Well, what can I say about this episode? This was a fun thing to talk about. It was awesome having Sean.
Played a lot of mind games.
Actually, it was a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
It was a lot about that. Because, by the way, we had not seen him in a very, very long time. I know we said this. So there was a lot of catching up, too. Because we didn't want to have these conversations on the hallway.
No.
So
and
we
also,
saved all of it for here. So
you can only do it off duty.
Oh, God, what a way to plug it. You're quick,
I don't know.
kitty.
All right.
Let's go to Gibbs' rules. What's rule number 7? Oh, come on now.
Never wear pink with blue.
Oh. Wrong.
Broke the rule.
Always be specific when you lie. Who came up with those?
Oh, I wish I'd known that when I was younger. I mean, my
or
God.
Now.
My God. That is intense. Always be specific when you lie. We're teaching lying lessons. We got little lying lessons. Okay.
Let's dismiss that one. We don't like that one.
Go to your basement, drink bourbon, and build a boat. Did you know that you can watch all episodes of NCIS on Paramount Plus, and you can watch the new episodes of NCIS on the network, CBS?
So what's going on next week?
I have a little piece of paper that tells me what next week is about.
Just magic.
Next week on Off Duty.
Off Duty.
I just love the name of the thing, Off Duty. A deceased Marine is found encased in a Civil War era tomb at the Smithsonian Museum, and evidence later comes to light suggestion that he was probably buried alive. That is right. Treasure, death, mystery, and our favorite Mossad agent is back in business. It's season 3, episode 4, Civil War.
Oh, that's after the episode 3 that I was not in, that I come back. And I think in that one, I joined the cast.
Yeah. Remember that Civil War thing? And I believe there was that was the one with the bear, with Jimmy. I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
And we were goofing around with the bear and Ducky. There was this. Yeah, it's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, can't wait.
All right. See you next week. Off duty.
See you next week. Off duty.